Let's talk about hip internal rotation because this can be a major key missing link to a lot of things. Your lower back pain, your hip pain. If you notice that your hip internal rotation is extremely limited, and especially if you have a compressive force in the front of the hip, so when you bring that knee closer to your chest and as you flex that hip and add hip internal rotation, this is a lot of times how we find if someone has a hip impingement, FAI, femoral acetabular impingement, CAM or pincer deformities, or something that we can find to identify that there is something that's affecting that hip joint. If you're doing something like a 90-90 or a frog stretch or something that takes you into a deep hip internal rotation, especially through flexion, this can actually potentially cause you more issues. So a good way that I have found to modify that, but also load and add resistance and have some progressive overload, is by utilizing a band with tension and slowly eccentrically loading that position. The way I like to set this up is by taking a band, taking a bench, and setting myself up to where I have two parts of a rig that I can hold on to. If you don't have a rig, you can also just attach this to something and hold on to two PVC pipes or something that can stabilize you. So what it will do is we'll straddle the leg that's not being utilized over the bench, angling the bench at a 45-degree angle. That way we can get over it without not being blocked or having that in the way. You're going to place the side that you are using on the bench. The knee is going to go down, and then you're going to take that bench and apply it to the side that you're using. You're going to take that band, you're going to wrap it around the rack, and then you're going to pull that around the foot, more up towards the heel so that we don't torsion or twist the knee and cause any issues at the knee. And then make sure there's something like a pad under the knee or something that can support that as well. And then once we have that, further you take your knee further away from that band tension, you'll get a little bit more resistance. We might want to just start off with a lighter band so there's less resistance so you can get used to the motion. You're going to take that knee, slowly kind of bring it away so that we have some tension on the band, and then you'll slowly start to bring yourself closer and closer with the heel towards that side that that rack is attached to. Once you have that in range of motion, you can repeat this cycle on those slow eccentrics. Use your combo rack and use your leverage to help you get into that concentric. So there's not going to be too much force there, but then get as much force as you can figuring out where your body needs to be as you slowly load that internal rotation. Then we can do things like speed velocity catches, little quick in-range catches, perturbations at that deep end range of a stretch. Really feel that hip open up. And again, we don't have to have a lot of compressive forces really directly affecting that front side of the capsule or the hip that could potentially cause you issues. This is going to feel very, very different, and there's a lot more resistance that can be applied. That way you can take a light resistance band, bring that into a moderate resistance band, slowly progressively overload this without causing too much compression again. All right, so yeah, you're going to need a rig, and you're going to want to set the bench angled this way. So if we're hitting the right side, we're going to angle it so you can straddle your leg over it and prop the knee. So go ahead and straddle, bring that knee, pin it down, and then we're going to take the band and we're going to bring it not on the inside of the forefoot because that's going to twist and rotate the knee. We want to bring that up into that higher part on the ankle and that heel. Lock that down. Now if you need more tension, you could take your knee a little bit more over. Now we have, yeah, if you get a good grip here, you're going to have a lot of leverage. Now you're going to want to pull in and then negatively control that eccentric out to that in range. Keep going, keep going. Right about there, you feel that in range. Now see how you're like rotated towards that right? So you're getting really deep in range. Now if you get, if you want to rotate more into your right, you can kind of pull in a little bit deeper. Well, yeah, towards your left, you're going to get a deeper stretch. If you lean into your right and you pull nice and high in, it's going to help you bring that nice and high and deep. See how you can get deeper? And if you want to rotate a little bit more towards your left, you'll get more of an in-range stretch. You don't have to always pull in high. Like you can pull in low. If you want to get proximal hamstring up nice and high towards that ischial tuberosity, you would pull up higher, so more heel to butt. But if you want to get a lot of that like hip capsule, you feel that hip capsule kind of opening up, you can just stay low. When you get to this in-range point, you do want to stay a little bit lower than you are high because then you'll start to kind of feel the knee. Also just watch how much compression you're getting on the knee just because we have that knee pinned down. You could throw a pad under that and then test around with some like ballistic catches. Yep. You're going to try to catch really quick towards that in range. So here's in range. you're trying to catch. And you can do little perturbations too, so light little perturbations, so go boom, 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 like a little faster. Yep, just like that. Keep playing with that, and you'll just feel that hip capsule open up. Yeah. Now, if you're gonna switch over to the left side, then we'll pull you, and what you're gonna have to do is rotate that bench. Now, where the band's at, I like it to be right where that knee height is. So right at knee height, not too high on the rig, not too low on the rig. Same setup, we're gonna attach that, bring that knee over a little bit so we have good band tension and good in range pull. Yep. The modification for this would be to go to the ground. So instead of having yourself straddled over the bench, you're gonna be positioned on the ground. Again, you're gonna wanna have some leverage. So you might wanna take stick mobility or PVC dowels that you can hold on to, have the band attached to the rig. And then what I like to do is use your sock on a hard floor or a slider on a carpet. That way that you can keep that foot down, and then you can slowly do the same thing as you eccentrically load that position. You can still take your heel and lift it up and apply that closer towards the butt. Again, it just depends on what we're kind of going for here. This is a great way to try to expand hip internal rotation and then give yourself a lot more in range of motion to play around with, using some resistance and to be able to apply that without so many compressive forces. So you want something, you're in a half kneel position, you definitely want something to support you. You're gonna get that band right around the same position on the heel, and then plant that toe down, and then go ahead and pull in. You might need to scoot over just a little bit so we have a little bit less, tension. Okay. Yeah. So you're gonna pull nice and tight in. This one we can't pull up unless you took yourself off the slider, which you could do as well. And then control. Ideally, I'd probably have you put that PVC like right to the right of you, right over here. Yeah. Now put that other PVC a little bit more right there. Now turn, that way that band has a different angle that you can kind of pull up and in. Yep. That's good. Now plant that toe in the slider. Boom. And then let that guide you. Negatively control. And we probably want to get that up a little bit higher on the heel. And you could go right there. Does that feel better?
It does actually feel better.
Yeah. Come off of this guy and then pull up and high. Now pull in a little more. Yep, right there. You feel this guy? Yeah. And then what you want to try to do is kind of drop that a little bit lower as you come down. That way you hit that in range and you feel like the capsule. Yeah. And then what you can do here with your PVCs, you can take them a little bit wider, give you a more stable base. And then turn towards your right side. And then that will help you pull in better. And then rotate your body over to the left. And then control out. You see how there's more? You see how like turning your torso helps give you more leverage, and then turning out makes it give you more in range. So you can just play around with that, or you could just stay stable and steady. And then that feels pretty good too. The slider keeps you just strict to the ground, so it's just kind of your preference of how you want to attack it. Yeah. All right, we're gonna put that on the inside of the ankle. Come over here to the bench, straddle over. Plant the knee, grab onto the rig. The more I pull into that right side, I'll get better leverage to pull in. Rotate to the left, slowly eccentrically load that out. If I need more tension, slide that knee over. Get full tension, control, 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 control. Full tension, control, load. Control, load that out. Full in range catches right here. Boom, 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 boom. Full in range catch. Little ballistic perturbations right here. Really opening that hip up at that in range. If you need to turn a little bit more deeper, you can catch a lot more of a stretch.